Oh, hello, hello there.
Hello,
Hello, hello. Well, thank you so
the
much.
channel.
It's a special channel created just for you.
I'm honored. Thank you very much.
Well, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. That's amazing. So I'm Maya, and that's Khan.
Hi guys, nice to
Hello,
meet you.
hello. Lovely to meet you. I will be quiet probably for most of the stream from now on. But
That's all
yeah,
right.
lovely to meet you. I'll got a bit of Fallout running in the background for you guys to talk over.
Good
Have fun.
choice.
Oh, Mirtas is very excited. Oh my God! Hi, Letitia. Chat is excited.
Hello. Yay! I'm excited for other people being excited.
We were just talking about that on stream earlier today. You know, if you're happy, share it with others, right?
Exactly. Like a smile a day can make all the difference.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's get into it. So, do you want to just introduce yourself to our chat? People who crazily may not have played Fallout or know much about it, or your involvement with it.
Sure. So, hello, my name is Letitia Lemon, and I am a voice actor who is obsessed with Bethesda stuff, mostly Fallout. I've done voiceover in about 15 different Fallout related mods and audio dramas over the years. And with Fallout London just dropping recently, I voice 6 different characters in that mod, and I also did all of the YouTube update videos for the past almost 5 years now, which is crazy to think about how long that's been.
It's been an incredible project. We were just talking about that earlier. You know, sort of getting excited, getting ready for this, talking about Fallout London. You mentioned you do stuff with Fallout for Hope as well, or have done in the past.
Yeah, so Fallout for Hope was a really amazing thing to be a part of. It initially started as just a group of Fallout streamers that just wanted to collaborate and make content together. And then we had the idea of doing all of this charity stuff. So I became staff for Fallout for Hope. So we just sort of organize all of these events throughout the year to raise money for St. Jude's. And we've done um, other specific events for other charities in the past as well, like the American Heart Association and the Texas Relief when they had all of those crazy like snowstorms and stuff a couple of years ago. And we also do a lot of stuff with Wes Johnson for End Alzheimer's as well. Um, and yeah, I've done some really amazing stuff with loads of other Fallout voice actors as well, which is incredible.
Well, funny you mentioned Wes, because we've been part of Fallout for Hope for a couple of years, and that the really awesome thing this and last year was having that modders at like 24, 48 hours, and you literally
Yes,
watch
yeah.
all of those people create everything from scratch.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like there are so many incredibly talented modders. It's insane. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, the scope of Fallout London. I know it's not a game; it's a mod, but basically it's game size. Like it's incredible.
It is, yeah. It's I believe the map is the size of base game Fallout 4 plus Far Harbor, I think. Don't quote me on
Wow. Yeah, it's not like we're live streaming. It's fine.
that. It's fine, you can edit out, and everyone that's watching right now, just erase it from your memories. I'll do the Men in Black
There we go.
neuralizer thing.
Yeah,
Put on my sunglasses, get ready, chat. Look at the bright light. Pew!
done.
And now you remember nothing.
That's awesome. But you obviously yourself, as you said, you're a gamer and a streamer as well. Do you? I've read. So, but do you have favorite games or a game that you absolutely love?
I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but there's this little game called Fallout 4 that I really like and have far too many hours in.
Never heard of it. Nope.
Ah, darn, that's a shame. It's a very, very niche game. Not many people have played it. No, Fallout 4 lives in my head rent free. The first time I played that game, was actually on stream. And people really liked it, and then they watched my obsession grow over the years. It was a thing of beauty. But aside from the obvious, I I really like the Uncharted games because the narrative in those is incredible. The motion capture and the cinematography are just absolute masterpieces. Like, you can just consider the games as films, and then we just don't talk about the Tom Holland film that doesn't exist. But I love those games, and I really wish that I could have been in them because they are some of my favorites of all time. But I'm also big into like Final Fantasy, and Dragon Age and Dragon's Dogma. So a lot of RPGs mostly. But I grew up with stuff like Ratchet and Clank and Sly Cooper, so a lot of like platformers and collectathon stuff as well. So I've got quite a varied gaming taste, to be honest.
I like that. Did I read somewhere you're also a Doom fan?
I do like a bit of Doom, a bit of ripping and tearing. I didn't think I would enjoy Doom as much as I did. I was very intimidated by it at first, but you know, turning demons into paste is very satisfying in the most cathartic way possible.
That's what we were just streaming as well. So yeah, love a bit of Doom. Just a bit of in chat. Midthus is saying, found you in Fallout London. Took a screenshot, but somebody already posted it. Feel free to post it. Keep posting.
Oh yes,
yeah.
I am also an Easter egg in Fallout London, which is funny because I don't voice me, which is a weird thing to think about. But yeah, there's a certain area in Fallout London that all of the characters in that area are named after people from the development team, which was really cool because I knew that the name of the area itself was a reference to the project lead, but I didn't know that we were gonna be in it. So that was a nice surprise when people were just telling me, "Hey, I found you in the game." I was like, "Me? What? What do you mean?"
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. And a couple of other Fallout streamers, when they found me, they were like, "Oh yeah, well, we only know one Letitia that likes Fallout." I'm like, "Yep." Yeah, it's me.
That's me. Oh, that's such a nice way of also, you know, saying thank you and, you know, job well done and we worked as a team. That's really, really cool, actually.
Yeah, I just like to consider it that I am Fallout canon now.
I love that. Yeah. So, what got you into gaming? What was the game that did it?
That's a really good question, actually. So when me and my sister, who's just over like a year older than me, when we were kids, our cousins lived just down the road from us. So like we'd go over to their place and like hang out with them. And we played a lot of Mario 64 and Sonic Adventure 2 at the time. But I think at that point it's like I understood the concept of games, but I wasn't like super addicted. It was just a fun thing to do while we were there. But I think the one that got me like proper into gaming was probably the original Ratchet and Clank. Because I remember my dad bought a PS2 and it had like a demo disc on it. And one of the demos was of Ratchet and Clank. There were a few other demos on it as well, but that was the one that we played religiously until the game actually came out, and we were just like, oh my gosh, it's a complete game that we have now, and it's amazing. And yeah, we just started playing it as a family and completed it as a family, and then each new game that came out after that, we just bought it when it came out, played it all together, and it became a really like family oriented series, and we just really enjoyed doing that.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, it was really nice because we had a few other games at the time as well, but Ratchet and Clank was the one that we were determined to beat first. So like we'd always take it in turns of like if someone got stuck on something, we just hand the controller to the other one. And yeah, it was a really, really special game to us, and it still is to this day, actually. So yeah, it's really cool.
I love that. That's a really that's one of the best stories probably we've ever had. Like people talking about how they got into gaming and which game was first. That's really fun. That it was a family thing. I love that.
Yeah, like when the original Ratchet and Clank came out, it was 2002, so we had the demo in about 2001. So yeah, I was about 5 years old at the time. So
Oh wow.
you can imagine a 5-year-old with a controller not doing so great. But not to brag now, but I'm the best gamer in the family. Just saying. But yeah, at the time we all sort of had certain things that we were better at than the others, and I just remember on like all the boss fights, we just be like, "Dad, can you do this bit for me?" And it was great.
I bet it also makes it easier explaining to your family what you do because they get it. You know, like
Yeah.
obviously you're a streamer as well. Having to explain that to people who don't get that or gaming in general is not really possible.
Yeah, like they understand. Like I think both my parents knew very early on that video games were going to become something that my brain would hyper obsess over.
Yeah.
Like when I first got my first handheld console, it was a Game Boy Advance SP, and I had Pokemon on it, and I was Pokemon obsessed anyway. So getting to play Pokemon, combining, my love of gaming and my love of Pokemon together, I just would not put the thing down. Like whenever we'd go anywhere, I would just have my little Game Boy in my pocket, play a bit of Pokemon.
That's cool.
And they were just like, yep, this child is obsessed.
Well, as if
And I
basically saying,
still am.
facts are facts, Letitia. There is always one that is the best.
Exactly.
So when did streaming become a thing for you? 'Cause-
So streaming's an interesting one, because I'd been toying with the idea for a very long time, but I was at university when it first became a thought. So, I had other things on my brain, like getting my degree and planning my entire future. But after that, a lot of my friends who I met through, watching them stream or watching other people that we both enjoy stream or just like on Twitter in general, or like, oh, you have such a great personality, you're really entertaining, you're pretty alright at games, so you should try streaming. And I was just like, I don't know, I don't have much faith in myself, I don't think I'm that interesting, blah blah blah. But I was like, okay, I'll give it a go and see what happens. So my first stream was in March of 2018. It was a direct from PS4 stream with no webcam, and I had the most terrible headset microphone the world could ever imagine. But I was like, screw it, let's see what happens. So I did that stream, and that one singular stream of some random person that's never streamed before got about 370 views. And
Whoa,
like,
that's
okay.
nice.
I was like, yeah, that's a nice number for my first ever stream. I guess I'll stick with it. And it's been a hobby since then. Like, I don't think I'd ever make streaming full time because I feel like if I make video games work and I have to grind all day, every day to get the numbers, I just won't enjoy it as much.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just sort of like a chill evening endeavor to like unwind for a couple hours and just be a nerd.
Yeah, that sounds very healthy, coming from a streamer.
Yeah, because I just knew that I had too many other things in my life that I wanted to do as well, that I wouldn't be able to make streaming a full-time job, because I know how difficult it is to do that, and I'm just like, I don't have the time to do it, and I just want to enjoy the streams that I can do. So like, when COVID happened and my entire industry shut down, I was just like, well, guess I'll do a bit more streaming then. So I streamed pretty much every single day in 2020 and 2021. Like, there were barely any days that I would not stream.
Yeah, that's awesome. I definitely got
It
more
was
into gaming, but
tiring.
yeah,
Yeah.
I can imagine. Yeah, but it was such a it was a life-changing thing for a lot of people. Obviously, COVID and lockdown, but it did open up some cool sort of possibilities, I guess, for people.
Yeah, definitely. It was a very interesting experience. I liked being able to stream that much, but at the same time, it's nice to have some evenings to just unwind and not have to be entertaining for a bit. It's quite refreshing.
Yeah, I can imagine. You okay with a couple of questions from chat?
Absolutely.
So, what do you like about streaming the most and the least?
The most is the connectivity and the community. Not just in terms of like, people that are watching my streams, but like meeting other streamers as well. Like some people that I've met just through like watching on Twitch, or people in my chat saying, "Oh, hey, this streamer is like really entertaining," or like, "You'd like this person's vibes," or whatever. Like some of those streamers have become very, very close friends of mine, and I adore them very, very much. A couple of them I have had the pleasure of meeting in real life. There is another Fallout streamer who is basically like my sister from another mister. I adore her so much, and we met through playing Fallout 76. So we actually met up and did a little road trip around West Virginia together, and it was the most amazing experience, and I wouldn't have had that if I wasn't on Twitch. So the community and the friends that you make through streaming is the best part. The worst part, aside from all the bots spamming in chat,
Yeah.
probably the fact that it is a very big numbers game, where people associate their worth with numbers a lot of the time on streaming platforms. Like I know,
Yeah.
obviously all the bigger streamers, like they will make the money anyway, but people that are trying to push to make it a full-time thing, it just becomes all about the numbers, and then it takes away value from who they are as an entertainment personality. Because me being an actor and presenter, I enjoy streamers that showcase who they are as an individual and what makes them unique and why I should watch them as opposed to the millions of other people that are live at the same time. Like, I like people with personality. As soon as someone associates their worth with a number, then it makes me not want to go and watch them. And, people should just appreciate who they are and not tie that to a statistic. Have more faith in yourselves, guys. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. Thank you. That should just be made into a snippet and everyone should watch it, because so many people, like I'm not even, that far into the game, but people keep asking, how do you do this? How do you get the numbers? And there's going to be something for people to come in the first place. Exactly.
Yeah.
What you're saying. Yeah, that's really awesome.
Yeah, like I've seen people stream to like 0 viewers for months and months on end, and it's like they're just streaming because they enjoy it. Like, don't look at that number in the corner and associate your entire worth by that number. Because trust me, if I did that, then I would have had many mental breakdowns at this point. Because when I was streaming every day, when I first did my first playthrough of Fallout 4, I could have become a Twitch partner if I actually could be bothered to do that, but I never could, even back then when I had the numbers. I was just like, I don't want to make this a job. I just want to play games and enjoy it. And since having that mindset instead of looking at the numbers, like, it just makes it so much more enjoyable. And then it also makes the people watching the stream feel more valued as well. Like, they're not just a number, because it can be kind of frustrating when you listen to someone in their chat talk about, oh, I need this amount of numbers and blah, 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 or I'm not getting enough viewers and whatever. It's like, well, now you're just devaluing my presence in your stream. So people just need to, enjoy streaming for what it is and think about what they offer as a person, as opposed to focusing on the numbers.
That's really, really well put. Thank you. Appreciate that. But yeah,
Right.
couldn't agree more. It's a community after all. That's what you're building, right?
Exactly. Like, I want to make connections with other people that I enjoy. Whenever there's like all those, follow for follow kind of things, I'm like, but it means nothing. Like, we could be completely different people. I may not agree with anything that you say or do, but you want me to follow you just so that you have a number and then you follow me back so I have a number. Like, that's not how that works. And chances are you probably never speak to the people that do follow for follows ever again.
No. Kazi's saying thank you. That's a very cool answer.
That's all right. I want to think of something that was a bit more profound than just, bot spam or toxic gamers and stuff. I want to think about something that really did bother me.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. That's awesome. All right, Acid Face, how has the growing popularity of video games and animation changed the landscape for voice actors, in your opinion?
Well, it's given us work. Mm-hmm. so that's nice. I think because of the way that the video game industry has developed, it's given voice actors a chance to perform in a way that's different to other kinds of animation, like, cartoons and anime, or doing like voiceover for commercials and stuff. Because voice acting in games is very, very different. So it's given us a new way to learn how to vocally perform, which I really like, because I always like to learn new things. Obviously, I'm not old enough to have an input on voice acting back in the day of like when video games first got voice acting, because I was not even born. But it's developed a lot since then. A lot of voice actors have really come into their own because of that. And like, if you think about how quickly the games industry has developed compared to other industries in general, it's had a very rapid growth. The technology has advanced so much in so little time, so it's always going to offer a learning curve, which I love. And it's given a lot of other voice actors a way to just get out there as well, because voice acting is so much easier to do because you can just do it from home. And weirdly enough, we do mostly have COVID to thank for that. Like, people were doing voice acting stuff from home anyway. That's actually how I started. But COVID sort of gave all the big voice actors that experience as well. Like, so many of them would be recording from like closets and stuff, and it just felt very, very real in a way, where it's like, we're doing the same thing. And it was a weirdly profound moment in a way. But I think the way that voice acting has developed has given a lot of people that chance in general. That's just the short version of it. It's given a lot more people an opportunity to try something.
Yeah, that's absolutely. We just got a raid. Welcome in, raiders. Thank you, Rather Dashing. Yay! And I have the wonderful Letitia Lemon. Like, you couldn't have raided at a better time. Talking gaming, voice acting, and, well, amazing streamer / life advice as well.
Hello. Yes, apparently I do the life advice too. I don't know where that answer came from, but I'm very proud of that one.
Yeah, that was great. So Acid Face, for you, what do you find is the most rewarding about being a voice actor? And what are some of the perks and challenges that come with the job? Yeah.
The most rewarding thing is the fact that I can be whoever I want to be. It's great. Because I do like traditional theatre acting as well. I do like on-screen acting. And obviously for that, you have to look a certain way. When you do voice acting, it doesn't matter what you look like, you know? So it gives you a lot of freedom to be whoever, and in some cases, whatever you want to be. And I really like that, because just because of the way that I look, and because I'm quite short. I'm only 5'3". So I don't play a lot of villains
Aw.
for on-screen acting, just because I have such a baby face and I'm too short to be intimidating.
Aw.
But for voice acting, I mean, it's just facts. It's how it is. But for voice acting, I do play a lot of villains because my voice is quite deep. It's a very pronounced British accent, and obviously I can, manipulate it to sound more intimidating. But it's something I would never do with on-screen acting, just because of the way that I look and because of my height. So it's given me a lot of flexibility. And even with the voices that I've learned to do over the years, some of them I never thought I'd be able to do. Like, I can do really good old lady voices, which is why half of my characters in Fallout London are old ladies.
I love that.
So I get to be an old lady. That's my favorite thing about voice acting.
That's awesome. And it is a great voice, Letitia, so that's Chad's definitely agreeing.
Thank you, I appreciate it. But yeah, my typical villain voice is a little bit deeper, a bit more pronounced, and I do a lot of dramatic pauses. So, I don't normally speak like that, but I get to when I get to voice evil characters. It's fun. And I forgot the other half of that question because ADHD brain just makes information leave 5 seconds after it enters.
Yeah, that villain voice, that was lovely.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, I've got a cat screaming in my mic. There we go. Come on, kitty.
I heard that very aggressive meow, and I am now very happy because I love cats.
He's part of the stream. Often around feeding time, he will let everyone know that it's feeding time, and he's very excited about it. But anyway, how did you get into voice acting? Or acting in general?
It's a very weird journey that I went on. It's very unconventional because a lot of voice actors start with traditional acting, which started from a young age, and they went to acting school and blah blah blah. I didn't do any of that. At school I studied media and film and television with the intent to be behind the camera, not in front of it. I really wanted to be a cinematographer and floor manager in television studios.
That's what I did. That's fun.
Yeah. So for people in chat that don't know, basically the floor manager is the person that tells everyone on the floor what the director is screaming in their ear through the microphone. So yeah, that's what the floor manager does. So I just order other people around.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to do. I was also pretty good with cinematography as well, not to brag. But I liked that. And then at university, we had a lot of our lecturers who were professionals in the industry, and a lot of them were saying that I have a very easy to listen to voice, and I'm very animated when I speak. So like, obviously you can't see right now, but as I'm speaking, I'm like moving my hands around and stuff. Like I don't sit still. And it looks good on camera when I'm talking and moving. So they were like, why don't you try like presenting some of the stuff that we're making here? So I was like, okay, I'll do a little bit of presenting. And obviously student projects, there's going to be some fictional stories and stuff. So they needed actors. And I was like, fine, I'll do a bit of acting if I have to. I started to really enjoy it. And I was like, okay, maybe I could do this more. And then my first job after university was in an escape room. Which utilized both character acting, which for people that don't know is essentially immersive theatre. So instead of performing to an audience, like traditional theatre where they're just watching you on a stage and like you don't quote unquote exist to the narrative, With immersive theatre, you do exist in the narrative, and the actors are performing with you instead of to you. So yeah, I did a bit of character acting. There was voice acting in that escape room as well, because instead of how a lot of other escape rooms give you clues like on a screen, we gave clues verbally through radios and speakers and stuff. So I got my first taste of voice acting through that. And then like I'd go to Comic Cons and stuff because, you know, I'm a nerd. And I'd meet other people that were like working on things. And I met these people that were doing some machinima projects. So my first voice acting experience outside of that job was not even in Fallout. It was in Halo machinimas, of all things.
Cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. And then my first project outside of that, I did a web series with this production company in London. That actually came out not too long before the very first Fallout London video I did which was right before COVID, so at the start of 2020. And yeah, that web series was sort of the first thing where I had someone reach out to me specifically through a casting website. Because yeah, the other stuff I got through networking at conventions, but that was the first time someone reached out to me, and I was like, ooh, I feel special now.
Oh, I could do this, yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of
Nice.
like the mom, I'm on TV kind of moment, but not with the TV. But it was like that.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, how do you prepare for whatever characters you're portraying? Do you have a process or?
I do actually, which I thought was just the normal process, but apparently it's not. So with me being someone that does both voice acting and traditional acting, well, I do more immersive acting than like stage and theatre. So I really get into the psychology of the characters that I'm playing. So it's like I don't just read their lines and give them contextual emotion. Like, I think about who that person is, like, if they were real. Like, they're not just a character. They are someone that is real, that exists in this real world. So I think about not just their role in the narrative that they're in, but I think about their entire existence up until that point and what they're going to be like afterwards as well. So I basically make the character real in a way, which I just thought was normal, but apparently not many other people do that. So I don't know.
That's really in depth. That's very cool.
I'm really into the psychology of characters. My major at university was narrative theory. So I think about how narratives are constructed, the formula that's used to construct them, and the roles of the characters in the narrative. So I think that kind of comes into play a little bit there as well.
Yeah, I can imagine. So do you often get like a script ahead, or is it sort of on the day and then you have to really go through this process sort of fast? You know, how much lead time do you usually get on these things?
So it varies from project to project. I've done probably about voice acting in like 20 to 30 different things. I don't know. I don't count. Numbers are hard. But it really depends on project to project. Sometimes I get scripts a couple of days ahead of time. Sometimes it's a few weeks ahead of time. Sometimes I get full scripts. Sometimes I just get my lines and then a bit of context behind that specific line. So it really, really does vary. Like for Fallout London, with it being a mod / video game, the lines are presented in a different way than if I was doing an audio drama or like a cartoon or something. So the lines for games are mostly just your own lines and the dialogue option that leads up to that line. You don't really get any other context behind it.
Right.
So in a way, you kind of have to improvise the context of that line, which is why in some games you might notice that the delivery from one character might be slightly different to another character, or just based on the scene that's happening around them. Like, I love Bethesda, but it's very obvious in their games sometimes the context doesn't quite line up with the dialogue that's happening. So with games, it's very interesting on how you have to deliver the lines, because there's so many different variables, because, you know, every player plays a game differently. So yeah, it's quite tough with video games, but with a lot of audio dramas and like cartoons and stuff that I've done, I do get the full script. I try my best to read the full script. This is a super secret between you, me, and the internet. Sometimes I don't. And I just cold read my lines. So for people that don't know, cold reading is just you read your lines with no other context. You don't know anything else about what's going on. You just read your line and hope that the way you deliver it is the way that it's supposed to be delivered. It's very risky when you do that, but, you know, just don't mess it up, basically.
Yeah.
Just do it well. If you're going to do that, then really commit to that specific read of that line. But yeah, some projects I do try and read the entire scripts to them, because obviously, you know, the effort was put into giving me the whole script so that I know the whole narrative. So it's like, it's mostly courtesy just to read it all anyway, to get the gist of what's happening in the rest of the project and not just in the scenes that I'm in.
I really like that, and it does make sense. You know, somebody wrote something, put something together, put, you know, hopefully some thought into it, and I like how you say it's courtesy at least to read it, but I'm sure it's also helpful.
Yeah, like sometimes it does take a very long time to read through whole script. So normally, if I'm really pushed for time on delivering the lines, that's normally when I do the cold reads. But then I still try to read the rest of the script when I can. Like even if it's after I've recorded the lines, I weirdly read it back and I'm like, does my delivery match up with the rest of the scene? And I will say I've never had to redo a scene before, so clearly I get it right. I do actually have a little bit of a reputation with some of the companies that I work for as one take lemon. Where a lot of the time I don't have to do retakes because I'm just that efficient with my readings.
One take lemon, I love that. That's really awesome. I'm obviously never done voice acting, but I do sort of the voiceovers for our videos and stuff like that, which, you know, half the time they're sort of instructional or like, hey, did you see this bit in the game? Isn't that awesome? And Lord Khan can definitely confirm I do not do them in one take.
It's fine. Like, sometimes words are hard.
Million Takes Maya is the nickname. No, that's totally unfair. We're talking a continuous stream of dialogue, though, as well. Not dialogue, monologue, rather than individual declaratives or reactions to something. It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
And yeah, often the trick is just to you get to the end of a paragraph and then you just do it again, and it's not even clear why, but the second take is usually better. But obviously, when you're in a studio and time is money and all that stuff, I mean, to some extent it applies everywhere, then the one take wonder I can see being a much greater advantage and much appreciated by your co-worker.
Yeah, it's very efficient being one take lemon. But I will say in one of the audio dramas that I am in, I'm actually the lead in that particular show. It is Fallout related. It's called Once Upon a Wasteland, where I voice Elizabeth Kirby, the main character. Also, fun fact, I was nominated as Best Voice Actress for that show at the Miami Web. Yeah, little tangent there. But there was a scene at the end of our first season where I had a 3-page monologue to do. And it was very emotional. The fun fact, the tears and the crying that you hear in my voice, I was actually crying when I was reading it. So it was all real emotion. It wasn't me acting being upset. I was genuinely upset.
That's beautiful.
It was an amazing monologue, but I did that in a single take. And Beth's voice is quite tricky to do because it's very constricting on my windpipes. So trying to breathe while speaking her voice is quite tricky sometimes. So I was just like, I hope I nail this monologue or I might pass out.
Oh, wow.
Really, I didn't.
Can we just, what was the name of the show again and where can we find it?
So it's called Once Upon a Wasteland, and you can find it wherever podcasts live. It's literally everywhere.
Awesome.
But yeah, I've had some amazing monologues in that show, which I'm very, very grateful for, and I love that character. She's so fun to play. But yeah, that particular monologue really hit me in the feels. So I think it just makes it even more poetic that I did it in one take, just because of how much it resonated with me at the time as well.
I mean, it's got to be sort of, if you have to keep repeating, then the likelihood is, you're going to try and improve what you've said. And then, I've done a bit of acting back in my day because that's what I studied at uni. But, the more you sort of keep doing it, the more it becomes sort of, less emotional. So the fact that you can just nail it in take one, that's got to be, awesome for everyone involved, because it's the feels are right there. You're not having to sort of think through what could I do? Could I do this better? Could I say this differently? It's just there. That's somebody in chat was saying that's an incredible reputation to have.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like, I think the more you say a certain line, the more the meaning behind it is lost, because you know the line, you've said it so many times, you're probably tired of saying it at that point, so it just loses a lot of the meaning. Like, as an actor, you have to still try and convey the emotion, but there are times where it can just feel a bit off just because of how much you've already had to say that line.
Yeah, exactly. Right, so what was the most unexpected thing you've learned about the industry since becoming a voice actor, on the positive and the negative side?
Most unexpected. The rise of AI trying to steal our identities and take away our work. That was pretty unexpected. But that's happened in the past couple of years, and I wish it hasn't. But yeah, the AI, it sucks. I don't know, really. Like,
that is definitely that is definitely a problem. Yeah.
I would say I'm quite thankful that I haven't, touch wood, so far discovered any theft of my voice. So that's nice. There was a point where someone did say that they thought they heard my voice being used for like a sleep app. So I went to download the app and go through the whole process of like signing up and figuring out my sleep schedule and blah blah blah. It took like 2 hours to figure it out, and I was just like, just let me hear something so I know if you stole my voice and I can sue you. It wasn't my voice, so they're lucky. They are safe.
Nice. Yeah, it's AI has definitely there are some uses, like when for some sort of designs, if people simply don't have the money to take certain photos or something, I can totally see that.
Yeah, no, like AI has its uses, but not in the arts, not in performance, not in anything that requires a human touch to it. Like, I've had this debate with many people before. Like, there are some uses for it that have just been part of our everyday lives for years. Case in point, have you ever watched a weather forecast? Because that uses AI to predict the weather, especially when it comes to natural disasters. They use it to try and predict the path of like hurricanes and storms and stuff. So like, it has its uses literally to save lives. But as soon as you try and steal someone's voice just because you don't want to pay an actual human, that's pretty scummy and mean, and takes away our work and our identity and our individuality, and we do not appreciate that. But yeah, like in terms of stuff like photography, I'd say that is still a pretty slippery slope, but I get it to an extent.
Yeah. certainly for
photography.
big brands that can support others, artists and everything. I think it's sort of their responsibility to do so. To just go for AI everything is crazy. For a teeny tiny company, I can sort of see that. But yeah, it's the AI. Acidface, thank you for the question, by the way. But yeah, it's definitely been an issue. There've been strikes in the States. It's it's such a new thing. It's like we were talking about games. The development they've gone through in the last kind of 10 years. The fact that they're being taken much more seriously now, which is super exciting. Not just a couple of decades, but the AI is so new that the regulations are just not quite keeping up. And then voice actors have to be like, hang on, you can't do that. Oh shoot, maybe we should introduce some regulations here. But it's just slow at catching up.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was definitely the most unexpected thing to occur in the industry, I'd say. And I forgot the other part of the question. I'm so bad at remembering. I'm sorry, chat.
The positive.
The positive, everything that isn't that.
Right.
Like, my brain just went off on such a tangent about AI bad, rar, that I just forgot the other half of it.
It's all good. Everything else good. AI not so good. Got it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's basically that.
Yeah, fair enough. Do you go to auditions a lot, or is it you mostly sort of get approached or approach projects that you like? Because I bet auditions are going to be still quite scary, unless you would send stuff in. But like even then, waiting to hear, how does that work for you?
So it's really mixed for me because I do apply for projects on my own because I'm a very work-driven person. So I always like to be trying to make progress with things. So I just send out auditions and demo reels and whatever to literally whoever that I see and whatever projects are being cast that I am interested in. I also network at events and Comic Cons because I go to them because I'm a nerd and I like that kind of stuff anyway. But since working in the industry, I just use it as a way to meet other people in the industry as well. So meeting other voice actors and learning from them, or getting them to recommend me for things as well. Going to gaming conventions and meeting developers is also a big thing. There was a game that I was in that had a booth at EGX. A couple for people that don't know, EGX is a gaming convention here in England. It was at EGX a couple years ago, and me being there and watching people play the game, and I'd do my character's voice when they got to the scenes that I was in. They found it so entertaining, but also so jarring hearing my voice twice, and they're like, "Oh my god, you're the voice actor in the game." And it was really cool because the other developers around us would see and hear me do that, so it's I was networking with them as well to learn about their games and make some contacts for if they need voice actors for anything else that they're working on. And there was also this, tiny itty bitty little developer that was at not that EGX. I think it was a different one. I can't remember. The last few years all blend together. Teeny tiny little developer that were looking for some more female voice actors in their game. They're called Larian Studios. Don't know if
teeny
anyone's
tiny.
ever heard of
No,
them.
never heard of them.
Teeny tiny. And they were working on a specific game at that point. Little known game called Baldur's Gate 3. And I was networking with them very aggressively. Unfortunately, I did not get cast in the final game, but there was potential for me to have been. It was just literally a case of they lost my contact details, and then when they found them again, they'd cast everyone. Which is very unfortunate, but, I got to network with them. My name was on their radar, and they did like what I offered. So going to events with a networking mindset really helps you connect with people in the industry, because look at the success that Baldur's Gate 3 has had, and a lot of the voice actors in that game weren't that well known beforehand. There were only a few of them that were. A lot of them had their breakout voice acting role in that game, which is incredible. And so many people love that game so much to this day. Even Neil Newbon, the voice of everyone's favorite thirst trap vampire Astarion, is in Fallout London.
Oh,
so,
brilliant.
It's a great way to network with people. And yeah, like I do that all myself, but I do also have an agent that does pass things to me sometimes. So I have a couple of agents for like different things. Like I have one that does all my modeling stuff. I have one that does like presenting and events hosting. I have one that does voice acting and screen acting, and I have one that does like international like hosting and events and stuff as well. So yeah, I get passed things via my agents as well. So it's very mixed on how I get the work.
That's good. That's very cool. I want agents for everything. Sounds very efficient. But yeah, you mentioned
it can be.
yeah. You mentioned Baldur's Gate and the voice actors. I really loved seeing how they're basically getting celebrity status, because sort of voice acting is like, it's just not viewed the same way. But it's so tough. I can only imagine most of it, but because you're not acting or talking to anyone, you just have to do it on your own, and you have to sort of figure out what's going on your own. I'm just delighted to see where the industry is going, and yeah, really, really happy for that. We did a whole sort of segment on voice acting. It was mostly Elder Scrolls Online, but just Bethesda games in general. Back in May, sort of part of Voiceapalooza, so sort of featuring a voice actor every day on our stream and talking to the characters and what else they've done in, and it's incredible how one person crops up on so many things. And you know, so different. Speaking of so different, I've got a little picture for, and I shared that before you joined us, of all the voices you do in Fallout London. But I love the little one right at the part of the tutorial.
Yeah, I want people to acknowledge that was me, because it gets so overlooked. I don't get credited as the computer voice, and I'm like, that's me, I did that. I do realise that computer voice pops up a bit later on in the main story of Fallout London as well, but you first hear the computer voice in the tutorial. It was the first voice that I did for the mod, because there was a demo of the intro that came out like 2 years ago. So I did the lines for that 2 years ago. And no one realised that it was me. Not even I realised it was me.
It sounds like completely different.
Yeah, because like I did the lines. I remember doing the lines, and then I went off to go and work in the Caribbean for a year. And it came out at some point while I was over there. So when I saw the demo, I was watching it on like my phone screen with like terrible Wi-Fi on an island in the middle of nowhere. And I was just like, wait, was that me? Or did they use someone else there? And I had to listen to it like 10 times over until I heard the certain inflection that I gave certain words. And I was like, yeah, no, that's me. I said that. That was me.
That's pretty cool.
So yeah, that was fun to realize.
Yeah, I love that. That's I had to listen a few times to be like, are we talking about this voice like 100%?
Yeah, that was fun. I also think I missed a couple of questions, because I do have the chat open. I see chat. Hello, chat. I think that was something that I was gonna respond to, and I've completely lost it. There was a question that was missed.
Yeah, there was a question about do you have an inspiration, a actor, performer that you sort of...
Yes, that was the one. Yeah. I completely lost where it was, but I saw it and I was like, I will point it out. And then again, ADHD brain, I just forgot.
I had it stored.
So apologies. Apologies. We got there eventually. So I do have a few inspirations, actually. I first got into my interest in media and television through Doctor Who. We do also have two doctors in Fallout London. We have Sylvester McCoy and Colin Baker. Which
amazing.
Is pretty cool. So yeah. Doctors 6 and 7. but it was mostly through watching the behind the scenes Doctor Who Confidential stuff that got me into it. And mostly Alex Kingston as River Song got me into acting. If it wasn't for her, I would not be an actor. She has inspired me for over half of my life, and she is such a delightful human being, and I adore her very, very much. I have had the pleasure of getting to see her at various events for the past 14 years. She's lovely, and I adore her. But in terms of voice actors, I have a couple, actually. So my biggest one is actually like my childhood hero, and I adore her to the moon and back. And I feel very honored to be able to call her a friend now, like after all of this time that I grew up being a fan of her work, and now we are friends, and it's just so beautiful. Is Veronica Taylor, the original voice actress for Ash from the Pokemon anime.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah, she's a very dear friend of mine, and she's given me so much advice and support over the years. Whenever I'm in a project, she's like really supportive of it, and like she wants to go and see shows that I perform in as well. She's literally the sweetest person on the planet. If anyone is a fan of Pokemon and hasn't met her, like go and do so. She's such a sweetheart, and I have endless amounts of love for her. But yeah, she's given me so much inspiration over the years. So have a lot of the Pokemon cast. You know, God bless Rachel Lillis. Rest in peace. She was amazing, and I'm still devastated about her loss last week. But she was amazing. And when I got to meet her, she gave me a lot of things to think about as well. She's very insightful and has a lot of words of wisdom. And yeah, she said such lovely things about me as well. Like she loved my personality and the way that I would speak, and just how I'd perform. And she was lovely. But keeping on topic of Fallout, probably the biggest inspiration of Fallout and I guess Bethesda voice actors for me is probably Claudia Christian, who voiced Desdemona in Fallout 4 and the Mistress of Mysteries in Fallout 76. Nice. And a lot of characters in Skyrim. I think she voices like 15 of them. But I did a charity stream with her a couple years ago for her specific charity, the C3 Foundation, which helps treat people with alcohol use disorder. Something very, very personal to my life. Not that I partake in drinking, but in terms of other aspects of my life, I'm not going to go. That's a whole long story that I don't want to bring down the vibes, but there's a thing. So I got to work with her doing a big charity stream there, and like we talked about a lot of acting and voice acting stuff as well when she learned I was a voice actor and not just a Bethesda streamer. And she's been an absolute dear friend of mine since then, and she's been so supportive and so lovely. And we get to like hang out whenever she like comes to London for events and stuff, and it's really cool. So there are a few voice actors that I could also list that I've had the pleasure of knowing for a very long time, like Nolan North and Troy Baker, you know.
Yeah.
Standard video game voice for like every video game ever. And there's just loads of others that I've met who have inspired me as well. But I think most importantly are Veronica Taylor, Claudia Christian, and Alex Kingston.
I like that.
Definitely.
Those are very personal connections as well. It's not just yeah. That's very cool. And I'd imagine it, you know, having someone sort of to look up to or be inspired by, if you actually know them and they're awesome person as well. That's just yeah,
it genuinely to this day still feels surreal that I am friends with Veronica Taylor. Like it blows my mind. Like I still fangirl whenever I see her at events and stuff, and it's great and I love it.
That's awesome. The one thing that I was sort of struggling with when we were doing the voice palooza and trying to find out, what actors voice certain characters. Very often they're not. It's not listed what characters they say. It just says additional voices. So it's actually kind of difficult to track down.
Yeah.
Who did what, which I find incredibly frustrating, and I'd imagine they do as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough because then it's like we don't know what additional voices we do as well. Like, this is a little bit of behind the scenes stuff, but on the Fallout London Discord server, obviously we have certain channels that are just for like the dev team, and we have one for voice actors. And a lot of the voice actors have been playing this little game recently of trying to collect every single character that they have voiced. It's like everyone that has the additional voices are like, where are my additional voices?
Yeah.
So it's quite funny just them like doing little screenshots or video clips being like, I found one, and it's hilarious.
That's got to feel quite strange, and it was very frustrating for us because we wanted to showcase some of the wonderful characters, but we just couldn't figure out who they were.
Yeah, it's really tough. But yeah, I'm quite lucky that most of the characters that I voice are named, so they are relatively not easy to find, but like once you found them, then like you can identify them, as opposed to going, this random raider. It's like, nope, it's this person for this quest kind of thing. So that's nice.
Yeah, that always helps. Acid Phase, another question for what was the most challenging type of character or emotion to convey through voice alone?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I don't know, actually. I think for me, I struggle a lot with the high-pitched anime child voices, just because I have a lower register in my natural voice. So I struggle a lot with those kinds of voices to do. As I said, I primarily get typecast as villains or older characters because they naturally have deeper voices anyway. In terms of emotion, I don't know. It's probably gonna sound really weird, but I find laughing really difficult to do for voice acting because it's like I've read the script, I know what's gonna happen, so I can't pretend to enjoy something when I know what it is, kind of thing. So a lot of times where I see that I have to laugh, I just cringe a little bit inside. I can't do it. It's terrible, I know, but like, I just can't. My brain doesn't work that way.
Well, I guess as a streamer, that's sort of the only thing I can sort of relate to is I'm pretty sure my laughter, like on stream, it is different to what I would do sort of in real life. But I think it's sort of morphed now that it's just I do that in real life as well. But when I sort of started streaming, I was fairly aware of like, that's not quite right, is it? I'm not putting it on. It's just, it feels weird because it's sort of going out there.
Yeah, like it's a difficult thing to just laugh on cue and having it sound genuine.
Yeah.
Like most other emotions I can do. Like I can pretend to be angry. I can pretend to be upset. I can cry if I need to. But laughing? I can't do it. I can't force a laugh. But it's something that's so simple that like I think a lot of other voice actors can do easily, but I can't. It's really tricky.
Yeah, I totally get that. Do you have a favorite character that or a project that you worked on, or some for whatever reason, but just something that?
I like all of the projects that I've worked on for different reasons, which I know is such a cop-out answer, but
Fair.
The sentimental part of me is just like they chose me out of every other voice actor in the world.
Yeah.
So I like them for giving me work. But I am very fond of Fallout London just because it's the project I've worked on the longest. Like as I said, I've been on the project for about 5 years. a lot of the other voice actors have been on it for maybe like 3 years, so I have that little bit of extra time with it. Yeah, I'm gonna say, in terms of longevity, probably Fallout London, but I like every project. I just want to put that out there. I like every project I've been on.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to be proud of what you do, right? And that's
Exactly.
yeah. I know that we're running out of time, I'm guessing, but I just wanted to ask: do you ever do cosplay? Because you mentioned you go to Comic Cons. Do you ever cosplay?
I do actually sometimes. I don't really do it as much anymore. But I have done cosplays in the past. I have done a couple of Fallout characters. I cosplayed at the one and only QuakeCon Europe that we had in 2019. I cosplayed as Dr. Lee from Fallout 3. Because I just naturally look like her anyway, so just put on a lab coat and then ta-da, I am Dr. Lee. I mean, I don't have the Asian heritage, but I look a lot like I could be her. And I have cosplayed as Desdemona as well, my girl, because I have a raging girl crush on her. So, of course, I have cosplayed as her. But I've done a couple of other characters over the years as well. But it's not something I do too often, and it's not something that I do professionally. Like, I don't make my own costumes, because I feel like if I picked up a needle and thread, I would stab myself more with it than the actual cloth. So it's more of a case of I buy things and then assemble it all very haphazardly. Sometimes I will do a little bit of sewing or gluing or painting or whatever if I need to. But I try to avoid it where possible, because I just don't trust myself.
Yeah, there are some incredible cosplayers, and I'm always just how do they do that? The way they create their outfits and like different materials, and yeah, it's mind blowing. But yeah, I'm with you. I wouldn't trust myself with that.
Yeah, like some of the cosplays I've seen are just incredible, and like it's frustrating because there's like some characters that I would love to be able to cosplay, but my brain just can't figure out how. And it's so annoying, and I'm just like, I want to be that character, but I don't have the skill to make their outfit. It's so annoying.
Yeah, and you can't really walk into a shop and buy those easily ready to go.
No, 'cause it's like very specific, very obscurely designed outfits, and I'm just like, why must you be complicated? Why can't you just wear like jeans and a t-shirt and keep it simple?
Yeah,
but to be fair, that's what I get for liking so many fantasy and magical things, where just outfits are outrageous.
Yeah, it's been really fun watching like Ophelia from Bethesda creating cosplay outfits, and I'm just looking at it thinking, that's very cool. And it requires a lot of patience, but it looks amazing. Yeah,
definitely. Like, there's a couple that I really want to be able to do, but I just can't wrap my head around. Like, as I said earlier, I love the Dragon Age games, and I really want to be able to cosplay Flemeth one day, but her outfit and her hair just confuse me so much that I don't understand how to do it. But, like, I want to be sexy witch dragon, you know? She's cool, and she's voiced by Kate Mulgrew, and Kate Mulgrew is amazing, and I adore her so much. And she was Captain Janeway in Star Trek, and I freaking love Star Trek.
Yes, same. Oh, okay.
And I have met Kate as well, and she's absolutely lovely.
That's awesome.
I have both of her books signed, so I'm very happy about that. She's lovely. She's a sweetheart. But I want to be able to cosplay as Flemeth and go and see Kate again. Like, I'll go to a Star Trek convention dressed as a Dragon Age character. I absolutely would. I don't care. I will do it just so she can see me as Flemeth. I love that. I want to cosplay like loads of Winx Club characters, but I can't figure out how to make wings. That's scary. And I'm trying to think of the other. There was another one that I really wanted to cosplay for years, and I've forgotten who it was now, so never mind. But they had a very complicated outfit as well.
Yeah.
I really don't remember who it was.
But this is like absolute perfection. So obviously you are incredibly versatile, a performer, a voice actor, entertainer, and the list keeps going on. You're a gamer, streamer, but also Star Trek fan. Like, it's just, yeah.
I am
awesome.
all of the things all at once. It's great when people ask me, like, so what do you do? I'm just like, well, how long you got?
Yeah.
Is great.
Oh, well, Acid Face just saying you can get in contact with costume designers and ask them to help. I just remembered we have in the ESO community an incredible cosplayer. She makes all her amazing outfits, including she just did some wings, actually, for one of the characters.
Ooh.
And she has offered several times to our community, if anybody wants some tips or help, she'll be more than happy to help. So...
Yeah, see, tips is more useful to me than reaching out to other people that require money.
Exactly.
The money is the concern. If someone tells me how to do it and then I do it very badly, then that's on me.
Well, I'm more than happy to share her details. She's an absolute delight, really lovely and so incredibly talented, and has taken part in some of our events and streams and fundraisers, always dressed as a different character.
Oh, amazing. No, I remembered the other one now. I remembered who it was. It just reminded me. So I wanted to cosplay Sergeant Calhoun from Wreck-It Ralph.
Ah,
but
nice.
I can't figure out how to make the armor. So it's like her armor, Flemeth's hair and outfit, and then any Winx Club characters, anything. Why do they all have to be so complicated? So annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, some of
all the characters I like are so obscurely dressed.
Yeah. I was told that maneuvering wings through a convention is super annoying. I can absolutely imagine.
Yeah, but it looks cool though.
That is definitely true.
Or like even just their outfits are quite tricky as well, but it'd be cool to even just dress up as one of the Winx Club girlies, because you don't see many of them.
But yeah, when you go and meet Captain Janeway, obviously that's Kate, and cosplay, you gotta take lots of pictures, because I would love to see that. That sounds amazing.
I want to make it happen. I will go to a Star Trek convention as Flemeth, and then everyone else there will be like, why? Why are you not a Star Trek character?
But Kate will get it.
And it'll be great.
Yeah, Kate will get it, and it will be awesome. And let's face it, chances are half the people there are also gamers, so they probably will get it anyway.
I'll just stick out like a sore thumb, though. It'll be funny. But I want to do that someday. It's on my list of things to do. There's a very long list, but it's on there.
Yeah, I love that. I'm very, of course, I don't want to keep you beyond, keep you from any other commitments. So I just want to say a massive, massive thank you for taking the time to talk to us. Really appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. I really do appreciate it. And like, I know we had to reschedule a couple of times just because of how chaotic life is. And I don't know if it's come across at all, but I am still a little bit sick right now. So I apologize if there's any like bleh moments that I just
not at all. You
horrible.
Sound wonderful.
Thank you. But yeah, I had so much fun, and I just love like talking about all of these things. It's not just a case of it's my career, so I have to talk about it. It's just things that I'm interested in general, and I love just talking to other people that share those interests.
And that comes across, definitely. Yeah. And it's always delightful to talk to people who actually, really like what they do, are passionate about it. And yeah, as I think Kazi said it earlier, voice actor guru.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far. That's a little bit too generous. But thank you. But I think it's also good to like talk to voice actors that aren't like, the really big, super famous ones as well, because it's a bit more grounded, a bit more realistic, and it kind of gives people that relatability as well. Like, obviously, like, I'm not saying, the famous voice actors are, like, so out of touch with other people. Like, not at all. But, they have... A lot of them have either been in the industry a lot longer, or have more connections in the industry, or just established very early on, as opposed to other voice actors who have had to find all of their work on their own for a very long time. So I think it's good to get that perspective from people that weren't like thrust into the industry very early on and very easily.
Yeah. And I think it's really fascinating, the games we love, to sort of get an inside scoop how things work and how much work goes into it. And I personally find it really fascinating and really fun, and it makes me appreciate the product, the game, so much more, knowing that so much went into it, so much love, so much, well, blood, sweat and tears.
Exactly.
It just connects
there's
you.
A lot that goes on.
Yeah. In a really awesome way. So yeah, I really appreciate this. Thank you. And inside scoops, yeah. And chat, yeah, huge thank you. And also hope you get well. Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just the back end of a cold, so it's nothing too major. But trying to read lines when I'm all stuffed up is not a good idea. So I've just kind of given up on auditioning for things until I am fully functioning again. But yeah, I just really wanted to do this because I felt bad for having to reschedule, and yeah, it's been super fun. So I really do appreciate you inviting me on to have a little chat with everyone, and thank you chat as well for all of the questions and all of the lovely comments. As I said, I have been reading them. I did have chat open for the whole stream because I am nosy and I like to see what you're saying. So yeah, thank you everybody.
Well, thank you.
There. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much. And
that was really great, guys. I really enjoyed listening to you both, but particularly Letitia, thank you. Beautifully articulate and passionate, like Maya said. Just really interesting to listen to someone talk like that for any length of time, really. There are a million podcasts out there whose success is based on exactly that. So yeah, that was a treat. Thank you.
Thank you. No, yeah, I am someone that I will talk about something until I literally run out of words to say. I will always have an opinion on everything. So like I could happily talk for another like 10 hours just on one specific thing, but obviously
be careful. We'll invite you back.
Well,
you
please
talk
do.
more about Star Trek.
yeah,
Please do.
let's have a Star Trek stream. Let's go.
It's a date.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. We should do Star Trek Online while we talk about Star Trek.
Exactly.
Yes. That is happening now. It's official. You heard it here first, guys. It's happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do
big
need to
Star
get back
Trek
into
fan.
that game, to be fair.
Yeah, same. I think I got a bit lost pretty much at the start, so I haven't really delved much back into it. But yeah, I think I should. Yeah, make it so. Thank you, Acid
Yes.
Face.
Make it so.
See, this is why I love the community. This community, we get each other, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, part 2 it'll happen.
Star Trek. Let's go. All right.
Oh, I heard a meow.
Yeah, he's excited.
Yeah.
He's going to be 17 in a couple of weeks. But yeah, he's very, very active and very loud. Yeah.
That was a lot of meows. But yeah, again, thank you. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, I do hope to be back at some point because that was a lot of fun. And
Absolutely.
again, thank you so much for inviting
Thank
me.
you.
I really do appreciate it.
And I hope you feel better very, very soon.
Thank you very much. I will leave you to it to get back to some more Fallout 4. That was a very loud meow. Hello.
Sorry,
meow.
Teddy's saying hello. Were you saying goodbye? Get well soon.
Aw.
All right. Anyway.
Right, thank you so much.
Thank
Have
you.
a lovely rest of your day, everybody. And
You
I do
too.
hope to catch you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.